Garcia's life is literally, sorry, let me start this up right here. So the biggest win of Ryan Garcia's life is literally now tarnished, all because of a drug test. And by the way, we've seen this play out multiple times throughout the past when it comes to, let's say, dealing with a situation in John Jones. This has happened to him. He fought Daniel Cormier, he fought Ovince St. Preux, and both of those were overturned due to a failed drug test. John Jones knocked out Daniel Cormier with a head kick, only to come back with a dirty result in his drug test, and for him to completely tarnish that particular fight as if it was never in the record books. Similar to this one, a lot of the Ryan Garcia supporters are going to say to themselves, you know what? We saw the fight. We saw it play out. We saw what happened. And we know for a fact that he lost. Devin Haney. But does it matter? Because the question is going to be in the realm of, well, this is not what real fighting is. In real fighting, you get in there and you fight regardless of weight. Well, if that's the case, if it's regardless of weight and regardless of intaking a banned substance, then why not just allow kicking altogether? In boxing, why don't they allow them to kick? Why don't they allow them to clinch for as long as they can to gain leverage in a fight? And with good reason, there's a damn good reason why that is the case. Primarily because you got to understand this. Rules are rules. I understand that it's a fight, but by the end of the day, rules are rules, and you got to understand the true nature of that. So in other words, Ryan Garcia broke a rule. And what exactly did he break in terms of rules? I can tell you right now that he took the same banned substance that Amir Khan took in order for him to get banned for life against Kell Brooks. Now, here's the thing about Amir Khan. Why did he decide to take that same drug that Ryan Garcia took for the Devin Haney fight? Perhaps there's a part of Ryan Garcia that felt he was in desperation mode. As a result of that desperation mode, he decided, I'm going to take these same drugs that Amir Khan took against Kell Brooks. Because Kell Brooks, in that fight against Amir Khan felt that he was in the twilight end of his career. So as a result, what did he decide to do? He decided, you know what? I'm going to go all out. This is the type of mentality that Ryan Garcia had coming in. I'm going to go all out. Let the chips fall as it may. He had the victory. On top of that, in the back of his mind, somewhere down the line, that he was going to get caught with that drug test. And by the way, let me explain to you guys that don't understand drug testing in combat sports. So for now, he presented the sample A of his results. The sample B is going to come back and it's probably going to be very similar, which means if sample A tests positive, that means sample B is going to test positive, and that's somewhere in the 90% range of the accuracy and the mix of the positives and negatives of these test results. So Ryan Garcia really felt like he was going to go in here, kill or be killed, regardless of sport, regardless of championships, and that shows with the fact that he didn't make weight, which made him ineligible to even fight for a championship belt. And as a result, this is how the chips fell. It fell in an aspect of, I'm going to win this for that night, and whatever happens, I'm going to fight the narrative with what everybody saw that night. And guess what? That's exactly what a lot of you are going to say. Even though Devin Haney is now undefeated, what you're going to say is, you know what? We saw the fight. We saw that he got beat up. And because he got beat up, that is the only thing that most of you are going to care about. Not the integrity of the sport, not the rules of the sport, and definitely not the respect of boxing. Because if you people have an argument to the effect of, well, in a street fight, weights don't matter if you're overweight or 3 pounds over, rules don't matter, so in that case, why don't we just kick and elbow each other in a boxing match? Since those rules don't matter so much. But you got to understand one thing. Ryan Garcia is going to run with this as a narrative in the opposite direction and deflect the fact that he failed the drug test and present to you the reality of what had happened that night in the boxing gym. And that's exactly what he's going to do. That's sorry about that, a little bad reception there. We're sort of in a country area that we're riding on. So, speaking of what I was saying before that the feed got cut off or a little dodgy, Oscar De La Hoya now has to explain himself because guess what? He doesn't have the moral high ground here when it comes to what he said about Canelo Alvarez failing his drug tests. Okay, he talked about Oscar failing a drug test when Jamie Munguia and Canelo Alvarez were at the press conference, basically slagging off Canelo Alvarez for his mishaps. Again, quite hypocritical on his part to do that. You got to admit, considering the fact that he has no moral high ground to step on, Oscar De La Hoya, in this particular case. He cannot call Canelo a drug cheat, but guess what? Right after that press conference happened, that's when we all found out the dirty results of Ryan Garcia. And now Devin Haney is undefeated once again. What will that do for his legacy? Because we've seen what happened in the fight. We knew that he lost. However, he didn't get knocked out. You see, it's a little bit different. When did the results come out? The results came out approximately, I would say, less than 24 hours ago. CA Booby Trap Entertainment. Yeah, that's when the results came. And when the results came, I think they're now waiting for the B results, which, by the way, 90% will come out the same way, which means that Ryan Garcia is going to have his win overturned, just like John Jones against Daniel Cormier. But the difference with this is that Devin Haney actually went the distance. Okay, just like Brock Lesnar and Mark Hunt. You guys remember that fight? That fight got overturned even though Brock Lesnar won that fight. Again, Mark Hunt in that fight has a moral high ground because he didn't get finished. Devin Haney has a moral high ground for this fight because he didn't get finished. Ryan Garcia did not finish Devin Haney, even with all the steroids that he had going on in his body. Which means Devin Haney still has a moral high ground to say that he is undefeated. And by the way, he's still champion. A little ironic, even though Ryan Garcia won, and even though for that particular night alone, Ryan Garcia was the superior boxer, he didn't bear any fruits to his labor whatsoever. None. He wasn't able to do it. And again, you could point that to the universe, you could point that to bad or good karma, or you could point that just for the simple fact of Allah's will. Either way, Ryan Garcia just tarnished the biggest win of his life. And you got to think about this. that truly was the biggest win of Ryan Garcia's life. Prior to Tank Davis, and Duarte, yes, he's quite an elite fighter, had a decent win streak going into that fight against Ryan Garcia, but let's be honest, the biggest name that Ryan Garcia ever faced was Gervonta Davis. And after that, obviously it was Devin Haney, and this time he won. And it became the biggest win of his career. And by the way, a win that he really needed to solidify his superstardom. You see, Ryan Garcia is a social media superstar, but it doesn't mean that you're a top-level boxer. Just like top-level boxers, many of them are not social media superstars. What did Cali Booba Trap Entertainment here say? Devin's dad is going to have a field day with this one. Oh, yeah, he is. You definitely right about that. He's definitely going to have a field day about this. You got to understand, after the fight was over, Bill Haney shifted his attention towards Floyd Mayweather. And by the way, I'm going to make a separate video about that because I think that it is important to sort of give details. What's the haps on that particular situation with Bill Haney and Floyd Mayweather? They've been friends for a long time. Devin was helped by Floyd Mayweather. What was it that Bill Haney was so triggered by that he just decided to cut ties with Floyd? You want the God honest truth? It's the Israeli and Palestinian conflict. That's what Bill Haney's beef is with Floyd Mayweather Jr., is the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. So for those of you that don't know, that been under a rock, Devin Haney is a Muslim, Bill Haney is a Muslim, his whole family is Muslim, obviously, and most Muslims are going to support Palestine. And what did Floyd Mayweather do? He went and trained with the IDF, gave them a show, gave them a seminar, gave them a Q&A, gave them a visit, and showed them some love. And Floyd Mayweather's defense, without even mentioning the fact that it was due to the Israeli and Palestinian conflict, he says to Bill Haney in that Fight Hype interview, or that Fight Hype discussion that he had going on, hey man, I'm Floyd Mayweather, I got fans around the world, insinuating that perhaps he knows that the reason why Bill Haney hates him now is because of what he did siding with the IDF and the Israeli Defense Forces, while Bill Haney is known as a Muslim, and obviously most Muslims are going to support Palestine as a result of that. But yes, he's going to have a field day about this. He's going to have the moral high ground, in which he didn't already have in the first place, because after the fight, the only thing that Bill Haney could do is say, hey, you know what? We went in there, we tried, we came out holding our heads held up high, we didn't get finished. There were a few good moments for Devin Haney. Let's not forget that. Devin Haney still put on a good performance in that fight, even though he lost. So there's a lot to take from that. And unfortunately, the world will not hear any of that. That's the God honest truth. They're not going to hear any of that. So what? You won due to no contest, due to an overturn. We saw what happened. That's what a lot of people are going to say. And quite frankly, you can't blame them. Because that fight with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia is predicated on a casual fan base. I got to tell you, when you're a casual fan, and I need to explain this to people so that you understand exactly why I'm getting at the casuals for this particular instance, they're not going to care. You see, casuals, right after the fight is over, they leave. Some casuals even leave mid-fight while the fight is going on, projecting of how boring it's going to be. One example of that is Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman. just right before Kamaru Usman got head kicked, the entire crowd in Salt Lake City, a good portion of them started leaving because they thought that this was the end of it. Little did they know, in the last few minutes of the fifth round, Leon Edwards scores a fifth-round knockout, completely missing that part of the fight because they're casuals. Guess what? The casuals right now, when that fight was over back in 420, they went back to their regular lives. They went back to doing what they do. They went back to looking for the next big thing in fighting in terms of what is the next fight that we're going to concentrate on. There's Fury next. There's Munguia and Canelo. There's Lomachenko and Kambosos in the 11th. And then there's a whole bunch of other UFC cards that we can check out. That's where they're at with this particular instance. They don't care that an A sample tested negative or positive. They don't care that a B sample is going to test the same result. They don't care that these particular drugs really do give you a certain enhancement, especially when you are at the top level that Ryan Garcia is in. On top of that, the other argument of this particular instance, and I didn't get to take a look at Paulie Malignaggi's take on this yet, but I would imagine that his consistent take on the matter of PEDs and performance enhancement drugs in combat sports is going to remain the same, which is what? Paulie Malignaggi said that everybody cheats in boxing and in MMA. It just all matters who gets caught and who doesn't. Ryan Garcia just happened to have gotten caught in this instance. And there's several reasons for that. One, he was going on a suicide mission. He didn't think that he was going to win this, or he didn't care whether he was going to win or lose, indicative of the fact that he didn't really care about making weight. And on top of that, missing out on possibly winning a championship, which he could have been a champion right now if he just stayed on the scale or stayed in the sauna for a little bit longer. Or the other part of that, the fact that he crashed out and just decided, hey, you know what? I'm just not going to care about what happens. Perhaps maybe he did try and become diligent, but wasn't smart enough to do so. You see, the guys that get away with cheating in combat sports are usually guys that have very witty and intelligent people in their camp, or people that have the right amount of money and resources. And obviously Ryan Garcia is no different in that aspect. I mean, shout outs to him, by the way. He donated $30 million to the people of Gaza. And Canelo Alvarez matched that as well, so we got to give him props for that. But this isn't about the philanthropy of Ryan Garcia, although as great as that is. This is more about the breaking news of how this is going to affect that particular division of the four kings, or whatever you want to call them. Obviously the four princesses, because the four kings were Sugar Ray Leonard, Duran, Tommy Hearns, and Marvin Hagler. In this one, it's a little bit different because you're talking about different weight classes, right? Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, Devin Haney, and who's the other one in that list? Shakur Stevenson. And among those big names, it is only Ryan Garcia that truly fought all the best of them. Only Ryan Garcia. Nobody else fought anybody else. What did Cali Entertainment? This changes everything. This absolutely changes everything. CA Booby Trap Entertainment, California Booby Trap Entertainment, absolutely changes everything. Because, once again, Bill Haney is going to have the moral high ground. You see, a lot of y'all were downplaying Bill Haney. Because I got to tell you, Bill Haney is really no different than John Fury. Really no different. The difference is that Tyson Fury wins. Tommy Fury wins. Tommy Fury stays undefeated. So therefore, John has the moral high ground to talk his stuff, to talk smack, and to somehow attach himself to his son's wins. When you don't win, this is when people start piling on you. But guess what? If Ryan Garcia was to lose this fight, the way that Amir Khan lost his fight against Kell Brooks because he took the same drug, a lot of you would be downplaying Ryan Garcia. You would say, you know what? He should have been talking that smack. He should have been doing that, as if that was going to change any results of the fight due to the preparation or lack of that you were going into in there. Either way, the loser of any fight or any war in history is always going to be looked down upon. 100%. They are going to be looked down upon. They are the ones that are going to be demonized. They are the ones that are going to look bad because everybody wants to side with the winner. That's the reality of this whole entire game. In terms of the fans that are involved in it, everybody wants to be part of the winners. Everybody wants to side with the winners. Nobody wants to hang out in a locker room where a guy just lost and there is nothing but agony over there. Everybody wants to be in a locker room where the guy won. Everybody is celebrating. Everybody is having fun. And as a result of that, just seems more like the happier choice, right? You're going into a locker room with the winner rather than the loser. But at the same time, losing really gives you a different perspective on knowing who really got your back and who doesn't. And this is one of the lessons perhaps Devin Haney has now learned in his first professional loss. But now all of that is overturned. And now Devin Haney can go on and build his legacy from here on out. Because he's always wanted to be undefeated, and undefeated in a way that Floyd and Joe Calzaghe was. And now he can do that. But a lot of people are always going to have that asterisk in the back of all of this, saying to themselves, you know what, we saw the fight. We knew that he lost. We knew that he got rocked. We knew that he got knocked down a few times. Of course, he got back up. But that is the positive that you could really look out for that. Oh, well, he got knocked down, but he got back up again. Just like that old school song, I get knocked down, but I get up again, and they're never going to keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. And guess what? He got knocked down, and he got right back up again, and this time got right back up with the narrative on his side. I'm very shocked by all of this, but at the same time, I'm not. I'm shocked because, well, for one, I don't know if shock is the right word. Let me just say I'm elated by this, and not because I want to see the downfall of Ryan Garcia in any way. I'm talking from a content creator perspective. Obviously, it gave me a reason to get on this live and get some views and help build my channel even more. But on the other side of that, I sort of wasn't surprised knowing that Ryan Garcia was planning on crashing out for this whole entire fiasco that he was doing. But unfortunately, guys, this is all that we really have for this particular subject. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my past videos, the latest ones that I have going on here, some of the hottest content that I got out on YouTube right now regarding MMA topics, boxing, and all of the above. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Watch from beginning to end so you can get the full details of this scope. And I will see you guys for the next content, inshallah. Good work. Thank you. California Booby Trap Entertainment. Shout outs to that guy. And shout outs to everybody that comes and checks me out on these live chats. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. I'm about to hit the end button right now. Just like that little Ferris Bueller stay off thing. You guys are still here? You guys can go. Like and subscribe before you do, though.